Welcome to this section part of the course. In this section, we are going to be looking into how we can control which variables we see in the output during data step. SAS provides us with statements such as drop, keep, or rename. So as the name says, for rename statements, we want to change the name of the variables before we process that variable. And as for drop or keep keeps includes or exclude variables from processing. Let us head over to SAS Studio to understand these statements better. SAS provide statements which control which variables can we see in the output dataset. Those statements are keep, drop, rename, and many others. But in this course, we're just going to show how to use keep, drop, and rename statements. So let's start. So here we are doing control output. So let's define this new data set. Let's call it class 1. And we want to use its new class. First, let us see how does it look like. Run that. So these are the variables that are in our data set. So now let's say we want to change the variable name, say sex, to become gender. So to do that, we come here after set statement, we use rename. So which variable we want to rename is sex. We want to call it gender. Now, one mistake that one might do here is to put gender in quotation marks. This in SAS works in this way. So you have to simply just say the old variable and you want the name of the new variable. So let's run this. And from the output, we can observe that sex has been renamed to gender. So now let's say you say, now we only just want to keep the name, gender, and age of the students in the class. So to do that, we can use keep statement. Keep statement works in this way. We specify those variables that we want to keep when we are outputting SAS data. So let's look at our results. We said we only want to keep name, gender, and age. So we specify those variables that we want to keep, which is name, gender, and age. Let's run that. Now, SAS will give us a warning. It says the variable gender in drop, keep, or rename list has never been referenced. The variable sex in drop, keep, or rename list has never been referenced. So how can we do that? The best way that we can do is if we first run a keep statement, then we run a rename statement. So this is how we can do this. First, we run a keep statement. Then after a keep statement, we run a rename statement. Let's run it. So we made a mistake. Should have been 6. Then let's run it. So this is how we can use keep statement. So now let's say we want to drop certain variables. So how does drop works? So looking into this data, we can see that we had additional variables, which is height and weight. So if we had used drop statement, we will say drop height and weight. So let's first run this. So this is our data set. So let's see how we can use drop to get the same output. So we can use drop, the name of our variables, height, weight. Run it. So we get the same output. We have dropped height and weight from the output. And we have kept name, sex, and age. So this is how we can control the variables that appear on the output. SAS also provide an additional way where we can select those type of rows that meet a particular condition. So let's first look into our data. So let's say in our data, we only want to keep the information about female students. So we can use a where statement in that case. So we say where sex equals to F. Now, this says that only keep the observations where sex is equals to female. Let's run that. And this is the output. In addition, we can simply just decide, okay, now we only want information about female students, but with the age that is less than 15. So to do that, we can use and say we only want where the age is less than 15 and run that. And this is the output.